I let my bullies from high school hire me at their company, then systematically destroyed their careers. Back in high school, I was the classic target: skinny, awkward, terrible at sports, and somehow always wearing clothes that screamed, "Please pick on me." The three guys who made my life hell were everything I wasn't: popular, athletic, confident, and seemingly destined for success. They had this way of making every day feel like a minefield, never knowing when they'd strike next with some humiliating prank or cruel comment that would echo through the hallways for weeks. The worst part wasn't even the physical stuff, though there was plenty of that: shoves into lockers, tripping me in the cafeteria, hiding my backpack. It was the psychological warfare that really broke me down. They'd spread rumors about me, convince girls I had crushes on to reject me publicly, and somehow always knew exactly which buttons to push to make me feel like the smallest person in the world. After graduation, I threw myself into my studies with the kind of obsessive dedication that only comes from years of humiliation. While they were probably partying their way through college, I was learning everything I could about business, technology, and most importantly, how to read people and situations. I spent summers working internships where I was often the youngest person in the room, absorbing knowledge like a sponge and building connections that would prove invaluable later. College transformed me in ways I never expected. Not just physically, though hitting the gym regularly helped, but mentally. I learned to project confidence even when I didn't feel it, to speak up in meetings, to present ideas with conviction. More importantly, I learned to be patient and strategic, to think several moves ahead like a chess player, anticipating their opponent's every possible response. By the time I graduated, I had job offers from 3 different companies, all of them impressive enough to make my parents proud. I chose the one that felt like the best fit culturally, and threw myself into the work with the same intensity I'd brought to everything else. My colleagues respected me, my boss valued my input, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly confident in my abilities. 5 years into my career, I was doing well enough to consider my options. I'd built a solid reputation in the industry, had connections at dozens of companies, and was starting to get recruited regularly. That's when I saw the LinkedIn post that changed everything. One of my former tormentors had started a company with the other two, and they were looking for someone with exactly my skill set. The irony was delicious. Here they were, needing someone like me, someone they'd spent years telling was worthless, to help their struggling business. I could see from their company's public information that they were burning through cash, had lost 2 major clients recently, and were desperately trying to pivot before they ran out of runway entirely. I spent weeks researching everything about their company, their clients, their competitors, and their financial situation. What I found was both pathetic and perfect. They'd managed to secure decent initial funding based on their charm and connections,